Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to another video. So you can see we're in my garage right now. If you guys haven't watched my previous videos, this is my 2JZ S13 and I keep having belt issues, which is very common with JZs. I've noticed like other people driving, they keep throwing belts, and I think I found the solution for it. I found a company that makes a belt tensioner that I think will help with this issue. But the first time I was drifting, which was a couple months ago for the season, you know, I built this whole car, whatever, winter 2JZ. And the very first event I went out, I kept having belts. I keep having belt issues. So I kept throwing belts. I believe I threw two belts, if I'm remembering correct. I did a total of like 7 laps, and then my hood latch broke, and it was just a whole shit show. But I went ahead, fixed the car. Took it like a month after that. Took it out drifting again to an oval track, and I did not throw any belt at the oval track. So I was like, oh, you know, maybe the belts were bad, or you know, maybe they were stretched out, even though they were brand new. But never had an issue at the track. But at this track, I drifted the whole day. Oh, actually, I did like 5-6 laps, I believe. And, you know, full throttle on the oval, never had an issue. And then last week, I went out to drift at the very first track I went to. It's called Great Lakes Dragway, GLD, locally to us. I used to skip pad, so I went out there, you know, test out the car, make sure everything's good. I believe I did 2 laps, and then second and third lap, I threw a belt. And I'm like, oh, come on, dude, the same issue again. So luckily the belt did not snap. So I put the belt back in it. And then went ahead, did another lap, and the belt came off again. I'm like, what the hell? So I went ahead, and the second time the belt came off, the belt actually shredded. So I went ahead, luckily I brought a spare belt with me, put the new belt in. I did like 2-3 laps, and the belt was good. I looked at it every time I did a lap, I opened the hood and made sure the belt was still there. It was still there, no issues at all. And then the last 2 laps I believe I did, I threw a belt back to back. The first time the belt just came off, and the second time the belt got shredded. So I wasn't too happy, and I noticed, like I said, that I've seen people have these issues with JZs before, especially with 2JZ. One buddy with a 1J, I don't think he's ever had any belt issues, which is kind of weird, but I believe I found the solution to the problem, you know. Like I said, I found a company that makes a belt tensioner for this car that actually keeps tension on the belt, because if you guys don't know JZs, they have a automatic belt tensioner, so the belt tensioner moves when you give it throttle, like on and off throttle. And my guess is that every time, this track, which is a smaller track, I'm on and off throttle, and I'm hitting the limiter a lot. So, you know, when I'm initiating, transitioning and all that, I'm on and off throttle, causing the belt to get loose, you know, tension and untension it, causing the belt to come off. So that's my guess. At the oval track, I was mostly full throttle the whole bank. The belt didn't really see throttle transitions, so maybe that's why the belt wasn't coming off. Who knows? And the thing is that I driven the car on the street for the first 2 months, I think, of when I put this motor in, and the car never threw a belt on the street. I did pulls. I only did a couple donuts to test out the car, but I never threw a belt. So the only time I've thrown belts is at the one track where it's a smaller track, so there's a lot of transitions, and I'm hitting the limiter quite a lot. So, you know, my guess is just the belt's like jumping out too much, and the tensioner doesn't tension the belt enough for it to stay on. So maybe that's why I keep throwing belts. So I went ahead, I was talking to my buddy Fernando, and I was like, I wonder if there's a company out there that has a tensioner, like a fixed tensioner, that you can adjust, tighten the belt, and don't worry about it. Because, you know, on the Turbo VQ I had on this car, never threw a belt. On my Miatas, never threw a belt, because those tensioners are fixed. You know, you tighten them down, and then you tighten the belt, and that's it. You don't have to worry about them, you know, you don't have to worry about the tensioner moving around and all that. So he actually Googled a couple companies, and he found this company, that makes an adjuster for the automatic belt tensioner. So this tensioner seems very simple. Use a couple heim joints, thread a rod, and some other bolts. It's very expensive. It's like $140. We go over to the car, open the hood, and show you guys how this actually works, because it's kind of hard to explain it without having the car, without having you guys look at the car. I'm sure this is the people who do not know JZs and they don't know what I'm talking about. But as you can see here, we have an automatic tensioner. Not sure if you guys can see that, but if I put pressure on the belt, you can see the tensioner moves. So my guess is happening every time I give a throttle. The tensioner adjusts itself, and once I let go, it goes back, causes the belt to untension itself and come off. So what this does, this goes on the pulley itself, which is right on the front right here, and it goes underneath the power steering pump, and you go ahead and tension it to when you tension it until the belt's tight enough, and then that tensioner will never move now. That tensioner will always be still. It will never go back and forth, and there's not a chance of the belt coming off due to the tensioner moving around. So I really hope this works because I'm tired of throwing belts. You know, every time I go drifting, I gotta get out of the pits, stop, buy a new belt, put it on, and the car's super hot, and it's just a shit show. It is not fun working on your car when you're trying to drift because, again, you're there to drift, not to work on your car. But yeah, long story short, I'm gonna go ahead, maybe clean out my toolbox a little bit just so I can find my tools. It's pretty simple to put this on. It should be a 14 millimeter on the front of the pulley, and I believe a 14 or a 15 underneath the power steering pump. And then just thread this on and we should be good. All right, so I went ahead to clean the bench or my box just a little bit, just enough so I can put my stuff on top of it. I still gotta organize this stuff and whatever. Don't matter. Have the belt, Gates belt. I have the instructions, which is super self-explanatory. The long end goes to the pulley. So I'll take the center bolt of the pulley. This can come off. And this will thread in straight into the pulley. And then same thing with this side, take this off. And this side will thread into the power steering pump or underneath the power steering pump, I believe. So that goes there. Then grab my light here real quick. I'll go ahead, take the center bolt off. And then that bottom bolt right there underneath the pulley, underneath the power steering pump, that's where the short end will go. And then I will have the adjustment right in the middle. So it'll be really nice and easy to access. And the instructions don't say that you don't have to remove the belt, but I am because, of course, my belt is shredded and I have a brand new belt. And to remove these belts are super simple. All you need is a 14 mil, which, of course, I do not have one here. I don't even have a long one. Jesus. Do I have one of these? Yeah, there's one here. So this is what happens. I work on cars. I throw shit everywhere. My guess is in that box. This is a box I take for the track. But, damn. So, put that there. Try to do this all one-handed. And then, just that. Very simple. Just put your 14 mil on it. You turn it clockwise. So you can see brakes it loose. And then, won't be able to show this part, but just take it off the tensioner. And you can take off the belt. Go ahead, break that 14 mil off. All right, so I got that bolt off. I went ahead and just put the belt right over because I believe once I have the tensioner on, I'm not gonna have space to put the belt on. The short one's for the pulley, the long one is for the pump side. So grab the short one. It says over here, short pose for pulley. So grab this one. And then actually you need the washer too. Do not forget the washer. Almost forgot. Go ahead. Put that on there. So thread that all the way in and then do the other side. All right, so I went ahead and put everything together, and I had a wrong understanding of this whole tensioner because it's a tensioner. You're supposed to tension it, but I guess they call it like a lock, like a tensioner lock. Because when you have tensioner, usually you have like a left hand thread and right hand thread. So when you tension it, it either goes in or out. But now if I tension it, one of them goes in and the other one goes out. So it always remains the same, you know, if that makes sense. So one of the sides should be left, the other side should be right. But this one, they're both the same threads. So no matter what, they will never tension in or out at the same time. It will be fighting each other the whole time. And they state that here the arm does not have double right hand and left hand adjustable threads, so you cannot adjust the tensioner when it's installed, which is kind of useless because it's a tensioner. You know, like why would you make a tensioner that you cannot tension? You have to give it tension and just lock the OEM tensioner, which I understand they say, I guess it says there are two different threads of nuts. So where is it at? Someone here says, this keeps the tensioner from being over tightened and putting added stress on bearings. I guess for the person, if people don't know what they're doing, they can yank on this motherfucker, tighten the crap out of the belt, and possibly, you know, damage the bearing of the pulley. But for someone who does know what they're doing, you should have a tension. You should have a left and a right hand threads. So it's kind of goofy the way they did this. I see why they did it, but at the same time, it's kind of goofy. So I'm just gonna put it back in because I already had it in, but I was tightening it a little bit, you know, make sure you had tension because it was a little loose in there, and I didn't have tension. Kind of useless, not useless, but kind of annoying. I wish it was a actual tensioner, not just like a tensioner lock. But again, I see what they're doing it. I'm just gonna put it on. I already have it. So I really hope. So the way I'm gonna do it, I'm just gonna make it as tight as possible, like from putting it in, because the thing is like, once you slide this in, you have no way of tying this down because, like I said, once you tie one side will pull in, the other one will pull out, so it will always remain loose. So you have to make sure once you slide it in, you're sliding it in with tension, tension, so it doesn't wiggle around and the tensioner does not move. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do that, you know, thread this in a little bit until it fits really good in there, and then go ahead and bolt it all down and it should be done. All right, guys, so as you can see, it's fully installed. Super simple concept, super simple to install. Only took me 10 minutes to install it or less. You know, it goes on the pulley underneath the pump. You have a tensioner, you thread it in, that's it. This should work. I don't see why it shouldn't. The other thing I was thinking of is see if I can find a pulley that has the edges on it, like these raised edges, so the pulley doesn't slide off. Because I mean, I'm not sure it's gonna need it or not, but it would be nice to have the pulley not move left and right. Because I think I've seen people have issues where the pulley just slides off here, and that's how it keeps coming off. But I really hope this blue bracket works. I'm gonna go ahead, probably go to the spot later tonight and test it out. But the real test will be once I go back to GLD and transition, say in the limiter, and go in and off throttle a lot. But like I said, the way this works, it locks this tensioner, so this has no chance of moving anymore, and that should definitely help this not move. But it's in there, everything's tight, all these are tight. The only thing that I would say, if your billet would come off, you would have to take this off, which is only 2/17 or 1/7. You can take one side off. Just take the side off, slide it off, and just put your belt in. So it's not a big deal. Only add a couple, you know, like a minute or two more. But yeah, hopefully it works because I really don't want to deal with this no more. I'm tired of going drifting and having a belt blow. And the thing is, like, this car is undrivable without power steering. Every time the belt comes off, there's two things: no water pump. So if you just finish a lap and the car is like 220 degrees or 210, whatever, the car is gonna keep running hot. So it kept happening in the track, and I had to drive to the pits, which is only quarter mile. But it's still, you know, you're driving the car with the coolant not circulating, so that's an issue. And the second thing is, like, the car is undrivable without power steering. This car, it's like a rock. Like, this power steering, I mean, I don't have my wheel on, if not, I'll show you. But with the car off or no power steering, this car is literally undrivable. I don't know why. I never felt a car that the rack is so tough. But so it, you know, it's dangerous. Luckily, when the belt came off, both times I wasn't on someone's door, or the one who was behind me had given me space, because if not, they would either crash into me or I would have crashed into them. So I hope this really works, so I don't want to deal with that issue no more. And this is the first car that I actually deal with belt issues, and it's kind of annoying. And I don't even have a supercharger. People usually have belt issues with a supercharger, so kind of goofy. But for the people wondering what company this is who sells this kit, it's called excessivemanufacturing.com. So if you need it or anything, go hit them up. I saw that they sell a bunch of parts on their website, so go hit them up. I'm pretty sure this is gonna work, but I'll keep you guys updated. Like I said, I'll probably go out tonight. But like I said, yeah, I really hope this works because I'm tired of throwing belts. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead, clean the car, clean maybe the garage a little bit more before I leave, and I drive the car because I only drive this car like once or twice a month, if that. So I really want to go out, take it up to drive, and have some fun with it, because it is pretty quick. And I mean, it's not that quick. It only makes like 5 something, but it's quick for what it is, and it's super fun to drive. All right, so it's just on, and as you can see, the temperature is not moving at all. I mean, which is on the idle, but you see if you rev it on a little bit, so it's not moving at all. So that's good. Hell yeah. All right, so I went ahead and let her warmed up, and like I said earlier, that will not move now. It's all good. Hell yeah. Man, I love this car. Just sounds so good. Just driving normal. Sounds so good. right, so I went ahead, drove the car, kind of beat the crap out of it for a little bit just to make sure if it came off. I hit the limiter bunch, drifted a couple times around place that I know near me, and nothing happened. It's still good. Nothing has come loose yet. Everything looks pretty good. So the real test will be when I go drifting next week. Unfortunately, it will not be at the same track, GOD. It'll be at a different track called US Air. So the track I'm going to, it's quite small as well. It's called US Air. I don't know if you guys ever heard of it, but that's when where they host Final Bout. I'll be heading there with a couple friends and my brother. So we're all gonna be drifting. I didn't drive on the comp this year, so super excited to drive the track because we'll be there all day. We'll get a lot of seat time, and it's supposed to be like 70 degrees outside, so it'll be super nice and cool. So I'm super excited about that. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna be bringing the belt with me. I already bought another belt, so another heavy duty Gates belt. And I have the other normal Gates belt on it. I heard that the cheaper Gates belt's better than the heavy duty. For some reason, I'm not sure why, but I bought both just in case. But yeah, that's it for this video, guys. If you guys have 2JZs, I'll keep updated if you guys want. Follow the channel, and I'll be making another update on this lockout kit once I come back from the drift event. But so far, I'm pretty sure it's gonna work. I don't see why it shouldn't. Like I said, the belt, it's stationary now. So that tensioner does not move now. As you can see, the tensioner is locked. Nothing is able to move. So the belt should be tight all the time and it should not come off. So if you guys wanted to stay updated on this lockout kit, I'll definitely be posting another update on it. So make sure to follow the channel and I'll see you guys on the next one.